I've been going through this awesome Earth 1 graphic novel series and been doing it with the 3 volumes of Superman, and now that I've completed that, it's time to dive into my second favorite superhero of all time, Batman. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler talk comic book review for Batman Earth 1 Volume 1. I love this Earth 1 graphic novel series. It's just such unique takes on all these characters. Just finished going through the 3 volumes of Superman, if you want to go through and check out the reviews I've done on those. Right now it is Batman Earth 1 Volume 1, and just like the Superman series, they do some unique twists on characters that we know and love. And what I like about, Earth 1 being bold and taking these risks and taking these unique twists is, this is Volume 1. So this is a Batman origin story. How many times can we see Bruce Wayne's parents die? Yeah, it happens again in this one. It is the origin story of how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman and what drives him. But what I like about something with Earth 1 is like what they showed with Superman and what they're continuing to do with Batman is they're like, hey, look, as long as we're rebooting it and we're starting the story over, we're going to do some things different. We're going to put some unique twists on things, unique twists on characters you know and love, so that as you're starting over, you're getting something fresh and you're getting something new. And I really like that take that Earth 1 does on these characters. So as I'm reading through this one, they definitely do that. One of the first things that I really enjoyed that they did was the Waynes and the Arkhams. I love the take that this series has on the Waynes and the Arkhams. Now, we all know, thanks to Batman vs. Superman, it's Thomas and Martha Wayne. Bruce's mom is named Martha.
Why did you say that name?
That is now abundantly clear. But what I like what they did with this version is we learn Martha's maiden name. And in this version, her maiden name was Arkham. She comes from the Arkham family. And the Arkham family is a family of tremendous wealth. They make a comment in this graphic novel that the Arkhams built Gotham and the Waynes paid for it. So the Waynes and the Arkhams together pretty much built Gotham City. And so Martha grew up in one of the biggest mansions and most beautiful homes in Gotham City, which is later going to become Arkham Asylum. You just look at the design and the art and you're like, oh, that's Arkham Asylum. That's exactly what that's going to be, especially since, it is the household home or the childhood home of an Arkham girl. So it's like, yeah, this is the Arkham family home, and it's going to become the Arkham Asylum. And it's going to become the Arkham Asylum because we find out in this graphic novel that Martha Arkham, now Martha Wayne, is an advocate for the rights of the mentally ill. We find out she's an advocate for that because she has a passion for that. Because apparently crazy runs in her family. Bruce's grandparents on his mom's side, the grandma killed the grandpa and threw herself off the roof of the Arkham mansion. And this is a well-known thing. We see Harvey Dent as a childhood bully picking on Bruce Wayne, making fun of him that one day Bruce Wayne's gonna go crazy because of his crazy grandparents that used to live in that big, huge mansion. And so what they really do is establish that Bruce Wayne is a prince. This guy comes from wealth and the wealth of wealth. The Arkhams were wealthy. The Waynes were exceedingly wealthy, and Bruce Wayne is born into this tremendous wealth. We always know he was born into the tremendous wealth, but I just felt like this added to that mythology more. It added to that backstory more, and it just added so much, and it's really cool to know that now, and it's really cool that by blood to tie Arkham Asylum and tie the Arkham family to Bruce Wayne. I really like that. Then we got Thomas Wayne. We don't dig too much into, the Waynes yet, but what we learn of Thomas Wayne, he's into medical tech, and he's making his own wealth now off of that. Alfred lost his leg in combat somewhere, and Thomas helped him walk again. They established this friendship and this bond, and so, the Waynes just trust Alfred right now, so all that cool stuff. And right now, this picks up with Thomas Wayne running for mayor. When Bruce is just a kid, Thomas Wayne is running against Cobblepot for mayor. Yeah, Cobblepot. The Penguin. Oswald Cobblepot. And so he's running against this incredibly crooked guy to become mayor, and it really looks like Thomas Wayne is going to win. Now, Gotham is a horrible, crooked place, and good people can't be in power, so they have to make sure that doesn't happen. And of course, Bruce Wayne, he's a little rich kid snob brat in this thing. They want to go see a movie, they leave their party early, they go to this movie, and then the power in the theater goes out, so Bruce Wayne whines and cries, I want to see the movie, we need to go to the theater down the street now! So he bursts out the, exit in the theater, runs into the alley where he runs into, Chill, the guy that's going to end up killing his parents, and the guy's like, watch it, kid! And Bruce Wayne, being the snobby is, My parents are so rich, you can't tell me what to do. He goes, oh, you're a Wayne kid. Uh-oh. And so, Bruce gets captured, gun to his head, Thomas and Martha pop out there, the whole thing that we always see, Thomas and Martha Wayne killed. What's interesting, though, is the whole plot point that the Penguin had the power in the theater shut down so that in the dark they can have Thomas and Martha killed, but, when Bruce took the other exit, they weren't killed by the planned murderer. They walked out and were killed by somebody in the alley, which is also a great way just to show how dark Gotham is. One way or the other, the Waynes were going to die that night, either by the hand of Penguin's assassin, or they were going to die by the hand of some random mugger, and it happened to be by a random mugger. So this does a really good job setting up just how dark Gotham is, how much Gotham needs a hero like Batman and needs honest people. And that's exactly why Thomas was running. And so I thought, wow, that was really good and really smart. The next interesting character, Alfred. Now, with the Dark Knight trilogy, I think to show Gotham and other things, we know Alfred's got some sort of combat background, right? This guy isn't just your average butler, and we always get allusions to that. And this one, they dig a little deeper into it. They still leave a lot to your imagination, but they dig a little deeper into it. He was with the Royal Marines. He worked for the security firm in Seoul. What does that mean that he worked for a security firm in Seoul? What does that mean he did? What did he do as a Royal Marine? We don't know. We know he lost a leg. So we know that, and we know this dude is tough and he's strong, and we know that Bruce's parents trusted him and nobody else in this crooked city. And so he gets left with Bruce to be the legal guardian, and so he goes ahead and he takes Bruce in, and he raises Bruce. And what we find, though, is as Bruce Wayne, he can't let go of what happened to his parents. So he spent his life studying the case, digging deep into the mystery. So he's come to the conclusion that Cobblepot killed his parents. And so now he's on a quest to prove it and stuff like that. And he puts on the Batman suit. He dives out into the city. And what's interesting about Alfred is the interactions between Bruce and Alfred, between Batman and Alfred, is so interesting. Because Alfred looks at him and goes, look, all right, first off, you're nuts. This is insane. Okay, you're afraid of bats, so you dress like a bat because you think criminals are going to be as afraid as you? No. Secondly, if you're going out there, man, let me just tell you how stupid you are. No recon, no planning, no this, no that, and no gun, dude. You have no gun? You have gadgets, and your gadgets don't even work half the time. You're not going to take down crime in Gotham or solve your parents' murder or get your vengeance with gadgets. If you're going to do it right and have a gun. And there's even a line where Alfred's like, dude, you got to be prepared to sink to their level if you want to go ahead and take out the criminals of Gotham. And it's interesting because as much as Bruce is filled with anger, because he's always filled with anger. Every iteration of Batman, Bruce is filled with anger. No difference here. He's going for vengeance to take out Cobblepot to avenge his parents' death. But even in that quest, he doesn't want to sink down to the level of the criminals of Gotham and carry a gun. His mentor, his legal guardian, is telling him use a gun. And he's like, dude, no. I'm not doing that. I'm not sinking to their level. And I thought that was really smart because I like how it shows the core values of Bruce Wayne, the core values of Batman, and how he really is separate. Yeah, he's being a little crazy. He's an adult dude who dresses as a bat and beats up thugs in alleyways. So yes, the dude's a little crazy, but he's got core values. And that belief that he has in his heart, it separates him from the rest of the criminals in Gotham. And I like the way they illustrated that he's different than that. And so I thought that was really cool. And it was just really cool how they used Alfred's relationship with him to illustrate that and pull that out. So I thought Alfred is just an awesome character in this. So Bruce Wayne, Batman. Okay, so this is where I got a little bit of a positive and a little bit of a negative with this. And the negative that I have, I'll just say that and I'll knock it out of the way because it is a small negative. And it's not that I dislike what Earth 1 is doing, and it's not that I dislike the take. My negative is because there's a certain Batman that I'm used to. When you look at Tim Burton's Batman, Batman just explodes on the scene. He's got the suit, he's got the gadgets, it all works right off the bat. He's the world's greatest detective. Like, when Batman steps on the scene, he's mysterious and he's ready to go. We get more growth with the Christian Bale trilogy with Christopher Nolan, and we get more about his origin. We see more of him learning, more of him putting the suit together. But from that scene on, where the guy's like, "Where are you?" and Batman's like, "Here." From then on, that's the Batman that we know. Now, this one has just a totally different take on it. He's not the world's greatest detective. He is going out for vengeance. and he doesn't have all that necessary training that he needs in being this world's greatest detective and things like that. In fact, the opening of this comic book is, he has his little grappling hook and it doesn't work. And so he goes to leap from one roof to the guy that he's chasing, this Jacob Weaver guy who has his dad's lighter that Bruce Wayne got his dad when he was a kid, the last Christmas that Thomas was alive. So he knows there's a connection here between this guy and Cobblepot. So he leaps from one roof over to the other roof where this Jacob Weaver guy is, and he misses the ledge, falls into this pile of trash, and he's just like, ow. So we got more of a clumsy Batman. I wouldn't say that he's clumsy. Maybe that's a poor choice of words. But this is a Batman that has not arrived yet. And again, it's not a bad take. It's a good take, and it's a unique take. The reason that for me that stands out as a negative is because I'm just used to when Batman bursts out on the scene, he's ready to burst out on the scene. From what I've picked up here, there is no Ra's al Ghul. He has been trained by Alfred all his childhood and all his life to be ready to come out here and do this. And so then he steps out to do this. So no Ra's al Ghul, no world's greatest detective, at least not yet. It's Batman, so you got to believe that that's coming. But this is truly his beginning. I mean, this is truly his first time stepping out as Batman, stepping out in the costume. And so we're watching him learn. And the positives to that is it's really cool. It's really cool where he discovers Fox and, the funny little lie he tells Fox, "Oh, I'm mountain climbing. Could you please fix my, grappling hook here?" And so Fox fixes that. And so this is how he gets a hold of Fox, how Fox gets roped into this Batman thing. And so it's really cool as we dive into that. And it's really cool, when Alfred brings up the point, no recon, no planning, no this, no that. There's this other scene where Batman's on a rooftop and he crashes Cobblepot's party, not on purpose. He wants to go on the rooftop because, again, he finds Jacob Weaver with his dad's lighter. And he goes to take out Weaver, not kill him, but, beat the snot out of him and get information from him. But there's other people on the roof, and Batman didn't notice it. So he gets hit in the head with a brick and falls through the roof, crashes Cobblepot's party, and becomes super public because he was a little bit clumsy, and he had this tunnel vision. As a character choice, it's really cool because it shows you how vengeance is giving him this tunnel vision, and he's got to learn to let that go, and he's got to learn to make this more like justice. He has to go into this reading the situation. He has to do some recon. He has to know what he's getting into before he gets into it. So as a character choice, it's showing him rush into this so that we see him learn from these mistakes, and we're seeing where he's learned to be this Batman that we know and love. I'm just used to him already being there, but I like this choice. It's a good choice, and watching this character grow. And finally, he gets his face off with Cobblepot, with the Penguin, and the Penguin has just such an interesting character. But even in this whole face-off that he has with the Penguin unmasks him. He goes, "Oh, Bruce Wayne." And, reveals the whole master plan to him because, that's what bad guys do. They monologue it, and this is where Bruce realizes his parents died by an accident. I mean, if they didn't run out to the alleyway, he would have been killed by Cobblepot's assassin. But that's how bad and dark and fallen this city is. And so then Alfred shows up and shoots the Penguin and kills him. Alfred kills the Penguin, kills Mayor Cobblepot. And that was such a different take. Batman gets in trouble. Batman didn't think the Penguin had weird gadgets in his umbrellas like a little blade where he stabbed Batman in the stomach, which got Batman in trouble and almost killed. And it's Alfred that shows up and shoots Cobblepot and saves Bruce. And so, it was so unique and such a different take on it. And, of course, when Batman finds out the truth about how his parents died, that it really was an accident, but there was also a plan, he realizes this has to be more than just his vengeance, that this has to be a big, huge thing. Plus, Cobblepot had hired this guy, the Birthday Boy, who is a serial killer who kills girls and sets up a room in Arkham Asylum or Arkham Mansion as a, birthday room and then kills them. Crazy guy. And so Penguin goes out, captures girls for him so he can kill them. And then, Birthday Boy does what the Penguin asks of him. And so Jim Gordon's daughter gets caught into this mess. So this is our introduction to Barbara Gordon, which is really cool, who will later become Batgirl and all that stuff. So, it's really cool, all the setup we get. But Batman now having to face off the Birthday Boy because he also finds out about this killer assassin and ends up helping Jim Gordon save his daughter. It's incredibly interesting the way they handle all of that. And so, the Birthday Boy with Cobblepot, with Alfred saving his life, I mean, you see Batman's eyes start to open to realize they need to take this guy and turn him from this crusader crime fighter into a legend. And it needs to be more than just this idea of vengeance. This is a organized crime run city, and it's time to bring down the organized crime, and it's time to bring justice. And so we get to watch the vision for Batman go from tunnel vision vengeance to justice. Let's do this, and make him a symbol. Gordon and Harvey Bullock. This is another set of incredibly interesting characters. Now, in Batman the Animated Series, in every version of Batman I've seen, Harvey Bullock is the partner of Gordon, but he's an alcoholic. Gordon is the guy who's got the hopes and the dreams, and he's in Gotham. He's like, no, we gotta fight crime, and Harvey Bullock's like, oh my gosh, whatever. You'll learn the rules eventually, blah, 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 blah. This one, it's the opposite. It's interesting because we open with Gordon's wife dead from a car accident. And so Jim is bitter, and because of this car accident, he realized it was organized crime. As he was looking into the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne, Cobblepot doesn't like that. Suddenly his wife is dead, and his daughter is threatened. So Jim is the one that's grizzled. Jim is the one that's lost the hope. And now we have Bullock, who comes in here, who is not an alcoholic. He used to host a TV show. He says, handsome guy, here looking for the next headline, and blah, blah, blah. I'm here to solve the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like, he's the guy that's full of hope. He sees somebody being beat up on a street corner. He says, Jim, we gotta go stop this. And Jim's like, no, we don't. And when Bullock goes to stop it, he realizes that dude on that street corner owns that corner. The cops let him go. Jim Gordon lets him go. Everybody lets him go. And he's the one who gets the rude awakening to how much Gotham is run by crime. So it was interesting. They took a character familiar like Bullock and they reversed the roles on us. And it was interesting to see Jim like that, to see Jim be the just grizzled one that has lost all hope, and Bullock be the guy who's not an alcoholic, was a TV show host, incredibly handsome, and he's the guy who's kind of naive, thinking, what is going on here? So it's interesting to watch their growth, because by the time you get to the end of this graphic novel, you know, Harvey Bullock goes to look into Thomas and Martha Wayne's murder, but he can't because he just started working there, so he puts Jim Gordon's name down on the list, and so he gets the files, which then rings the bell for the Penguin. The Penguin then calls the birthday boy. The birthday boy then goes and captures Jim Gordon's daughter. And so Jim gets super mad at Harvey. But what's interesting is when Batman shows up and Jim Gordon shows up at, you know, the Arkham mansion, and Batman's already there and he's trying to find the Penguin's assassin, and he ends up saving Barbara. It's like these kind of things start to wake up Jim Gordon to hope. They start to wake him up to, my gosh, these guys are going to come for me and they're going to come for my family no matter what. And I lay down like a coward and let them roll over me. I lay down like a coward and I let them take this city. I can't do this anymore. It's like Batman in this situation with his daughter and the birthday boy become this inspiration that he can't let this happen anymore. And so that was incredibly interesting. But Bullock is the one seeing how Gotham works, and then seeing how somebody like the birthday boy has been enabled to operate and be this horrible serial killer receiving payment from the mayor. I mean, he gets so disillusioned, he becomes an alcoholic at the end of this. So it was interesting the way they reversed the roles, and then by the end of the comic book, they were reversed again. Jim now the hopeful one and the one going to stand for what's right, and Bullock the one, you know, climbing into a bottle because he can't handle this freaking city. So, like, that was a really interesting look and take. And like I said, we talked about Penguin and we talked about the birthday boy being this crazy serial killer assassin on the Penguin's payroll that the Penguin uses to get rid of people. You know, he captures their children and the Penguin's like, oh, look at that. See, I got you. You better do what I tell you to do. And it was a really good take on the Penguin. And I don't know, there's not too much that was different there. I mean, they didn't really get into any of the hokey things. He didn't have, like, hypnotic umbrellas and umbrellas with all kinds of weird gadgets. The most gadgety thing he had was an umbrella that had a little needle at the end where he stabbed Batman at the end, and then Alfred shoots Penguin. So, I mean, they didn't do anything super new with that, but, you know, it was just an interesting take, especially the plot to kill the Waynes, and then it turns out the Waynes were killed on accident anyway. So it's like, fascinating. So I'm going to give this one an A. I would like to give it an A+, but it's hard because I'm just so used to the other Batman, where Batman breaks onto the scene, he steps into Gotham, and he's ready to go. And this Batman, it's interesting to watch him trip and fall. He's still learning. He isn't reading the room exactly right, so he gets beat up. So it's cool for a character choice to watch Batman grow and how he learned to be the way that he is. At the same time, I'm just a huge fan of, you know, the Batman origin story. When he comes back to Gotham, he's ready for the fight. So, you know, I mean, emotionally, inside he's ready for the fight, but he just, up here, not quite there yet, but he gets there. So that's kind of my take on this. I'm giving it an A. It's a great take. I can't wait to dive into Volume 2 with you next week. If you read Batman Earth 1, what did you think of this? What is your favorite graphic novel, DC or Marvel, or anything else? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Next to the subscribe button is the bell. Click the bell so you're notified for the next comic book movie review I drop, ranking video, theological analysis, trailer reaction, and whatever else I do here. Hit that bell so you're notified when all that drops. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.